Why are oil prices soaring and the stock market crashing? Well, it's because last night Donald Trump gave an incoherent, rambling speech where he essentially acknowledged that Iran is winning the war and the United States has no path forward other than escalation, which could potentially devastate the entire Middle Eastern oil industry. Let's start by just reviewing the massive strategic gift that the United States and Israel have given to Iran. It's covered in this article by Lloyd's List, that is Lloyd's of London, the massive insurance company. They go through a detailed accounting directly from shipping companies about how Tehran has effectively set up a toll booth system in the Strait of Hormuz, where they are now accepting Chinese yuan in exchange for safe passage, basically allowing the Iranian regime to fund its nuclear program and terrorist activities in perpetuity. Now let's move on to Donald Trump's bizarre lies and inconsistencies in his speech. He made it very clear in his speech, perhaps for the first time, that the primary goal of the United States was not regime change, but was to actually destroy Iran's nuclear program. However, the people that actually study Iran's nuclear program, like the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, have pointed out that Iran moved all of its highly enriched uranium to Isfahan, to a facility that US bombs and missiles cannot reach or penetrate, and therefore their nuclear program remains highly intact, and that our bombing campaign has not disrupted it significantly. Then the next crazy lie that Donald Trump tells is that the United States doesn't need the Strait of Hormuz and therefore it's not our responsibility to open it. And yeah, just we can walk away and Europe and Asia, you have to deal with it. But the reality is everything exported from the Strait of Hormuz pretty much is priced globally. So whether it's helium, fertilizer, oil, these are all global markets. So when supply decreases by 15 to 20% globally, it's going to raise the price for everyone, including everyone in the United States. So it's just a ludicrous thing to say that this isn't our problem and we can just walk away now that we have completely effed it up. Then we get to the craziest part of the speech, which is what is really upsetting markets today. And it's when Donald Trump says, despite us already having won the war, we actually need to step up our bombing campaign for the next 2 weeks to try to force Iran to the negotiating table. And he threatens to destroy all of their power plants and oil infrastructure. And putting aside just for a moment the fact that this would be a war crime for targeting Iranian civilian infrastructure, everybody knows that Iran still retains much of its missile and drone capacity. Somewhere between 40 and 60% of it still exists. They buried these facilities deep underground in preparation for a war like this. And what they would do if we target the civilian infrastructure in Iran is they would strike back and destroy Gulf state oil and natural gas infrastructure as well as desalination plants. So they hold all the cards because basically they could disrupt oil and natural gas supplies for the next decade and would cost billions and billions of dollars in years to rebuild these facilities across the Middle East in an area where now Iran can basically extort those countries to remove their US bases and assert regional dominance because they hold all the cards and Donald Trump acknowledged it in this speech.